Close-up of a blood-stained cufflink, a shaky security cam frame, a figure stepping into a black sedan, a blurred document with the words "classified" stamped in red. A man's voice, distorted. You have no idea who you're dealing with. This story moves fast. Blink and you'll miss the truth. So hit subscribe now, tap the bell, and settle in. Because once you start, you won't be able to stop. And as you watch, leave your theories in the comments. The real investigation might just start with you.
True Crimes Reporter presents Power, Scandal, and Murder. The Untold Story of Senator J.
But on one cold night in Washington, everything changed. A body was found, and the name that once inspired hope would become synonymous with scandal and suspicion. This is the untold story of Senator Jonathan Marks, his meteoric rise, his darkest secrets, and the murder that shook the nation. Was it a tragic coincidence or the perfect crime?
Scandal. Senator Jonathan Marks was a household name. Born in the small town of Ashford, he worked his way from a modest upbringing to the hallowed halls of the U.S. Senate. Charismatic, articulate, and photogenic, Jonathan was the kind of politician who made headlines and enemies. Seen in campaign rallies, interviews, and makes late-night TV appearances. Always referred to by the tabloid with headlines of rising star of the party, the people's senator. But behind the polished speeches and photo ops, whispers of controversy began to swirl. Sources claimed Senator Marks had dangerous connections, ones that could ruin his career if exposed. As seen on clips of social media commentary, with pundits debating on news panels. And then came the night of February 12th. That night, in a quiet D.C. neighborhood, police responded to a chilling 911 call. The voice on the line? Distressed, panicked, and recorded for evidence. The 911 caller of a trembling voice said, "Please, please, someone's hurt. There's blood everywhere. Please hurry." When officers arrived, they found the lifeless body of a young woman, later identified as Rachel West, a 27-year-old aide who worked closely with the senator. Her injuries were brutal, her death suspicious, and within hours, all eyes turned to Senator Jonathan Marks, the night that changed everything and the secrets behind the closed doors. Looking at the blurred reenactments of the crime scene, the police photos of the crime scene, a voice said Rachel West was more than just an aide. Insiders described her as the senator's right hand, and possibly something more. On the night of her death, she was scheduled to meet Jonathan at his Georgetown townhouse, but according to police, she never made it out alive. A possible timeline for her movement was being created. An on-screen graphic timeline of events, texts between Rachel and Jonathan, also showed as the pop-up appeared. Security cameras had captured Rachel entering the property at 8:13 p.m., but strangely, none showed her leaving. At 10:27 p.m., 911 call came from the same townhouse, and when police arrived, Senator Marks was nowhere to be found. Neighbors gathered, giving interviews, and detectives can also be seen at the scene. A neighbor said, "I saw him leave around 9:30. He looked upset, like something was wrong." Investigators quickly uncovered that Rachel and Jonathan shared more than just a professional relationship. Leaked messages revealed late-night conversations, weekend trips, and a secret romance that could destroy his political career. Blurred screenshots of text messages, romantic photos, tabloid covers had been found. The media swarmed. Was this a tragic lover's quarrel, a political cover-up, or something far more sinister? The story exploded. The news was all over the airwaves. Clips can be seen on CNN, Fox, MSNBC from their coverage with breaking news banners. Headlines painted Jonathan Marks as a murderer, a cheater, a fraud. Protesters gathered outside his D.C. office. Political opponents wasted no time calling for his resignation. Inside the Hill, clips of the opposition senator's press conference started to emerge. One of the opposition senators stated, "This isn't just a scandal. This is a disgrace. Senator Marks must step down immediately." Another voice whispered, "But if Jonathan Marks killed Rachel West, why did investigators later find evidence suggesting someone else was at that house that night?" There were visuals of dramatic police sketches, reconstructed reenactments, slow zoom on case files. While the media crucified Senator Marks, the police investigation uncovered a chilling twist. Rachel West wasn't the only person in that house that night. At 11 p.m., a witness reported seeing a tall man in a dark coat leaving the back entrance, a man who wasn't Jonathan Marks. The witness interview clip immediately popped up on the TV screen with a blurred face and voice disguised saying, "I knew it wasn't the senator. This guy was taller, and he left like he didn't want to be seen." The question everyone is asking now is, so who was he? And why was there no trace of his visit? Investigators combed the property, no fingerprints, no security footage of his entry. But then, in the senator's private study, they found something unexpected. A second glass of whiskey, with fingerprints that didn't match Jonathan or Rachel. Could there be a missing evidence? Quick flashes of detectives bagging evidence, document files labeled confidential came on the TV screen. But just as investigators were piecing the puzzle together, evidence began to vanish. Security footage from nearby street cameras? Wiped. Phone records from Rachel's last 24 hours? Deleted. And the whiskey glass? It disappeared from the evidence locker before forensic testing was complete. A former FBI agent commented during an interview on CNN that evidence doesn't disappear by accident, that it is either a gross negligence or a deliberate interference. Protesters continue to feature on C-SPAN clips, fiery press conferences, with signs reading, "Justice for Rachel." As the investigation unraveled, so did Jonathan Marks's career. His political allies distanced themselves. Party leaders urged him to resign. But the senator, now in hiding, issued one defiant statement through his attorney. The lawyer speaking from a press conference podium said, "Senator Marks did not harm Rachel West. He is the victim of a political setup, and the truth will come out." And the true crimes reporter who has been digging into the breaking news asked, "But if it was a setup, who had the power to erase evidence, silence witnesses, and frame a sitting senator for murder?" Seeing visual montage of court documents, anonymous sources being interviewed in silhouette, dark corridors of Capitol buildings, whispers began to circulate of a shadowy figure with deep political ties. Some claimed Rachel West uncovered something she shouldn't have. Others said Jonathan Marks was being punished for refusing to play along. A blurred leaked email screenshot with subject line, "She knows, handle it," appeared suddenly on the news screen. And the newscaster said, "A leaked memo has surfaced, allegedly written by Rachel West days before her death, warning that she was in danger." It read simply, "If anything happens to me, look at who he meets after dark." The reporter following the lead asked, who was Rachel referring to? Who was the mysterious man in the dark coat? And most importantly, is Jonathan Marks guilty or a pawn in a much bigger game? Only time will tell. In a calm and chilling voice, the reporter said, "Let's follow the trail of the secret guest, uncover new explosive evidence, and reveal the truth about what happened that night in Georgetown." If you've been hooked by the twists so far, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss the next reveal. I want to hear your theories in the comments. Who do you think is pulling the strings? And don't just stop here. Keep watching, because every detail matters. All names, characters, and events in this program are either fictitious or used in a fictitious manner. Any resemblance to real persons, living or dead, is purely coincidental. This video is created for entertainment purposes and does not claim to present factual evidence.